Hello, beautiful, beautiful people, and welcome back to Shia's World. I want to first apologize for not posting in a while. A lot has been going on, but we'll talk about that next week. Today, I have angels in the background, so if you hear noises, that's my dog in the background. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different on my channel. I wanted to talk about the period. Not the period that goes at the end of the sentence to let people know to stop and not continue with the run-on sentence. I'm talking about menstrual period. So if you are uncomfortable with this topic, please click away from the video. Don't leave any negative comments about like, oh my gosh, she's being gross or whatever. It's a natural bodily, function. Women go through it just like men have erections when they, start their early development. So if you're uncomfortable with that topic, then please click away and leave your negative comments to yourself. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and please consider subscribing. I will be coming back doing more videos. Just got to get everything together and situated. So today we are going to be talking about period. Like I said, yeah, we're going to be talking about the period. Now, next month, what I will do, I will vlog while I'm on my period. I did not do that this month because I've been kind of busy, but I will vlog while I'm on my period so you can see the product, how I use the products that I have and I'm going to talk about today, and also how I clean those products. So we will get more in depth about them next month, but today I just want to kind of give my review on some items that I have been using. These items I've been using, I actually got them off of wish.com. I will make sure I put in the description where, the name of the item and how much I paid for it. I'll include the shipping with it. But yeah, these products I actually got from Wish just to see how I would like them before I spent more money on them. So before we get into the products that I've ordered from Wish, I want to talk about first the traditional pads and tampons. A lot of times, especially with tampons, with some ladies, they find it uncomfortable to put in. Then you have the little strain that you have to worry about. You have to move that out the way when you go use the bathroom, and then you wipe, and then you put the strain back. Because if you pee on it, now you have a wetness situation, and that's no fun. That's no bueno at all. So a lot of women, they find tampons to be uncomfortable, and a lot of times it's not even the fact that it's uncomfortable, it's just not safe for you unless you're using organic cotton tampons or reusable tampons. Speaking of reusable tampons, I have not tried them, but if you guys want me to, I will look and see where I can get some, and I will definitely try reusable tampons for you guys. But let me know in the comments if you want me to try that in a future period video. But with regular tampons, let's see, with regular tampons, a lot of times, whether you're a light bleeder or a normal bleeder or a heavier bleeder, when you're putting in your tampon, a lot of times it's the taking it out. Sometimes putting it in can be uncomfortable if that's not something that you're used to. Like if you're a teenager, you're just starting your period, and you go to one of your friends because your period just magically came on. It caught you off guard. It happens to all of us. Your period comes a few days early, or you're a little bit late, and it's like, okay, well, I'm just go about my day. And then all of a sudden the faucet turns on, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're like bleeding everywhere. And then you go to one of your friends, and then they hand you a tampon. Well, if you're not used to wearing tampons, then it's like, what do I do? Well, with tampons, you have a lot of waste that's going on that contributes to landfills and everything else being destroyed because you have to throw so much stuff away. For those of you who are new to my channel, yes, I am vegan. I've been vegan for almost 4 years now, and I'm trying to be as vegan friendly as I possibly can. So that also includes reducing waste products and stuff like that. So I'm trying to go at a more natural way to have my period in a healthier way. But with tampons, you know, if you're new to tampons, you're a teenager, you're like, okay, well, what do I do with this? How do I put it in? No one taught me how to do this, because I don't even know if they still teach health in class, or if you can go to your health teacher, or if you can go to your teacher and talk to them about this. I don't know. I've been out of school for so long, so I don't know how they do things in school anymore. But with tampons, you know, you have your little pouch, and then you have your applicator. So what you do, it's best to sit down on the toilet to do this. If you're going to use a tampon, whether you use a regular one or organic ones, it's best to sit down on the toilet because it's more comfortable, and you're in a position where when you insert it, when you insert the tampon, it goes in easier. This one is a super tampon. But you know, they do have light, they have regular, and they have super plus. I think that's it. But it's best to do it like sitting down on the toilet, because it's more of a comfortable position. And then you're gonna take the tampon, and then you're going to angle it in a, well, you have to know your body. You have to know how your lady parts down there are. Everyone's vaginal region is different from one lady to the next, you know, depending on how where your cervix is, depending on where this sits and how it sits and how it, you know, whatever. Everyone's body is unique. So learn your body, especially when you're not on your period. You know, just take some time and just figure your body out. It's not gross, it's not disgusting, it's your body, and no one, you know, should know your body more than you because you're living in it. So, you know, when you're on the toilet and you angle it, it slides in very easily with the applicator, and then you press this in, and this slides up and goes into your vagina, and it sits there collecting blood. Well, sometimes that becomes uncomfortable. If you don't know how to properly insert a tampon, that becomes uncomfortable. And if you don't know how to, if you're not used to putting something up your lady parts and taking something out of your lady parts, that can become a very uncomfortable situation or an awkward situation. And speaking of taking it out, you know, when you're taking out a tampon, you have, well, let me just, because I'm not going to use this, so let me just take this out. You have this string here, and the string goes all the way in to the tampon. You see this color here. This is to, well, it's actually blue, but it supposedly helps catch more blood and keeps it in the tampon, but that also depends on your menstrual cycle. I wouldn't leave this in longer than maybe an hour and a half. 2 hours is pushing it, but that's just me. But when you're taking out the tampon, and then sometimes you just look at a tampon, all the little cotton and everything, how it's all nice and compact in there. This is not an organic tampon, this is just a regular tampon. And you know, when you're pulling it out, because once you put the tampon in, it sits there and your body conforms to it. So when it's time to take it out, you're doing this number, and it's sometimes when you're not as heavy or your period lightens up, trying to take a tampon out, it's rubbing and you're kind of dry, it hurts to pull it out, and then it leaves residue. If it's scented, you know, you want to be careful with fragrance type things with your lady parts. You don't want to break out down there or anything like that, because you have scented tampons or you have scented pads or something like that, and now you're breaking out and you're like, okay, well, what's going on? Be cautious with things like that. So with tampons, it's not always the healthiest unless you're using organic cotton, or like I said, reusable tampons. So when you're taking them out, you know, a lot of times it leaves the little cotton. I mean, you can kind of, I don't know if you can really see it, but I mean, like a little bit of cotton, just by me simply doing like this, you know, is lifting up, and sometimes that can stay in your vaginal wall, and you don't want anything like that in your vajayjay, just sitting there and sitting there. So the other thing I want to talk about is pads. I still have some. I don't use these. I literally just still have them, and I was like, why not talk about them, include them in the video along with the products that I do use. Well, with pads, the traditional pads, you have this noisy paper. So when you're trying to be discreet, because some ladies don't like for people to know they're on their period, even though every woman goes through it. A lot of women don't like people to know they're on their period. You know, you're trying to be cute, you know, and, you know, quietly put a pad on or something, and you got all this, and everybody in the bathroom know, oh, well, she's bleeding. So, you know, you have the noisiness, and then you have this annoying adhesive. So, traditional pad, nothing too, you know, nothing fancy really, just a regular pad. Well, the thing with this, okay, there we go. The thing with this particular pad, it says it absorbs 10 times its weight. Now, this is thin. I'm gonna take it out so you can actually see. This is thin. It's very thin. And I like the way it opens in the back, but it is very thin. It is very absorbent. I will say that. I used to use these before I started using reusable pads, but it is very absorbent, and I do love the fact that, you know, after a certain point, you know, when you have it, it does this in the back. I don't know if you can see that, but it does that cool little thing. So I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. It opens up more because some people are more front bleeders, some people are more back bleeders, some people just bleed everywhere. But with this, it sits in your underwear. But the con of every pad, because of these little sticky adhesive thing, there are times when, Exhibit A, these kind of you're trying to, you know, fasten these around your underwear and, you know, hook them together, and then it does this annoying crap. It just bunches up right there. Or, you know, the back of it, sometimes it may twist. You know, you're up, you're moving around, you got a pad on, you're trying to be discreet about it. This is very good about being discreet. No one will really see the line of it. But, you know, you have the pad on, and all of a sudden it does this number, and now you have a sticky situation going on, either on your booty or on your thigh or whatever, and it's like, and this one's like, Becky, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real quick. And then now you're trying to like readjust your pad because it's like sticking you and it's very uncomfortable. Every woman has dealt with that. If you have not, then okay, ups to you. But I know I have, and it's very annoying. And a lot of times, even when it says super absorbent, you still want to be careful. You know your type of period better than anyone because it is your period. Some people have a different period every month. Some people bleed more one month. Some people bleed less. It just, you know, it really just depends on you. So with the pads, like I said, my main con is like the whole sticky situation with the adhesive. It doesn't stay, and a lot of times you end up bleeding through it completely, and then you ruin your underwear, then you ruin your pants, and now you ruin your sheets, and then you're just having just a horrible, horrible day, and that's no fun. So, and also this also very wasteful because, you know, you're throwing everything away. You can only use this once. You can't leave it on for, you know, a long period of time because that's gross. It will smell. Even if you get the scented ones, and now you got irritations going on with your lady bits. So we don't need any of that. You know, we don't want to have a smell when you're on your period. You already don't want people to know that you're on your period, so you don't want to add to it by leaving a pad on for an extended amount of time, and now you have an odor. So the alternative to traditional pads and tampons and all of that fun stuff is cups and reusable pads, but I have 2 cups, and I will show you. I have these cute little cases. Now the cups did not come in this case, but I have 2 cases here, 2 little adorable pouches. Now these came with my reusable pads. This one came with my overnights, and like I said, I bought all of this stuff from Wish. My overnights came 5 in a pack, and then my regular pads came 10 in a pack, and it came with this cute little case. But before we talk about the reusable pads, let's talk about the cups. So like I said, I have 2 cups, and I love both of them. I do. I like the fact that, you know, this one is soft. This one is a lot more firm. I prefer this one because it just opens up easier. With this one, you have to do a little extra work with it. Let me see. Excuse me. When you're inserting your cup, there's 2 ways to insert your cup. The method that I use is the fold down method. You just fold it in the center, fold it like this. But I always turn it this way. And again, I find it easier for me to sit on the toilet to put in my cup. Some people squat down. Whichever is comfortable for you. For me, it's comfortable to sit on the toilet and do it. But I like to turn my cup this way and insert it. If you want to see video on how to insert, you know, and where it should sit, if I remember, I will put a link in the description below that actually shows how to insert it and where it should sit. Now with the cup, after you insert it, now with this one, because it is soft, it'll open, but you want to always make sure that the seal is there. Now the thing about making sure a seal is there, the reason I say that, because you don't want to have the cup sitting at this angle and then you're bleeding over the cup because you didn't insert it right, or you don't want to have it sitting on your bladder and then you feel like you have to pee but you don't have to pee. You always want to make sure that you have it inserted properly. Like I said, I will try to put a link in the description below with a video demonstrating how you insert the cup and where it should sit to catch the blood. The second method that people use to put in their cup is the punch down method. I don't use it because I like the fold method better, but to each his own. You just have to figure out what works best with you. You can also use this method and insert your cup that way. And like I said, it will open, but with softer cups, you always want to be sure that the seal is there. So you're going to have to stick your finger up there. It's not gross because it's your body. You should be comfortable with your body enough. I mean, if you're comfortable enough to stick a tampon in your hoo-ha, then, you know, you should be fine with sticking your finger and, you know, making sure it is sealed properly, because you don't want to leak over the cup. You don't want to leak into your underwear. Now you're still ruining your underwear, you're still ruining your pants or your dress or whatever, you're ruining your clothes. So, you know, you want to stick your finger up there and make sure the seal is there. If it feels like it's not quite open, because sometimes it'll still kind of feel like this, like it'll be in there but it's not open completely, and if you go and you feel, oh, okay, well, there's like a little humpity hump there, so you're gonna have to slowly turn it, and you can do that from the bottom. Just kind of like turn it, rotate it, and it will pop open. So once you make sure that, you know, it's completely rounded at the bottom, you can leave these cups in for up to 12 hours. The max amount of time I left my cup in was 8 hours. It wasn't this one, it was actually this cup. I left this cup in for 8 hours, and you can see the difference between these 2 cups. This cup is a lot wider. This cup is a lot wider. And it's a little bit shorter. This one is longer. It's smaller, but it's longer. I think this cup is the size 1, of its brand, and this one is a size 2 because I just wanted to see how it feels. Because sometimes, you know, they say with the size 1 you get that if you've never given birth and you're under 25. The size 2, you're over 25 and or you've given birth. But sometimes, depending on the cup, the size 1 will feel more comfortable than the size 2, or the size 2 will feel more comfortable than the size 1. So you always want to see which one feels better to you, because I said earlier, everyone's lady bits are different down there. So you want to make sure that you are wearing something that is comfortable for you. But this is the cup that I had for 8 hours and I did not leak over. It actually came to like right here, and I was like, huh, okay. I dumped it in the toilet, cleaned it, and put it back up in there. But you can sleep in these. Like, it's so much better than actually using a tampon, because you can't, well, I'm not gonna say you can't, you should not keep these in for 8 hours or sleep in them, you know, and forget that you have them in, because that causes other issues. So you don't want to leave tampons in for that long. But with cups, and then you can't, you know, after you take this out, you have to get rid of it. Like, you can't just, okay, well, I'm just gonna clean it and, you know, shove it back up there, because it's gonna be full of blood and you're not gonna be able to clean that. This is not a reusable tampon. It's just a one use only. You take it out and it's like, okay, and you get rid of it. Disposable. So these are reusable. You can use them over and over throughout your period, throughout the day. So I would dump after I take the cup out. Now, to take the cup out, what you want to do is after you put the cup in, and I'm going to talk about this one in a minute. This one is by far my favorite of these two. I love this one, but I really love this one. I love this one because it's firmer, and it instantly wants to open up as soon as I put it in. But when you're taking the cup out, you want to pinch down here. If you can see the ridges at the bottom, you want to pinch right down here to break the seal. And when you break the seal, it's easier to take out, and it's not just scrubbing against your vaginal wall and causing irritation and more bleeding or anything like that. So you want to break the seal, and then you shimmy it all the way down, and then when you get it out, I've never had an issue with it spilling on my hand or anything. Even the 8 hours that I bled into this cup and it didn't spill over, I did the same thing. I just shimmied all the way down and then took my cup out, dumped it in the toilet, and rinsed it out and put it right back in. And that's the thing that I love about cups, because you can just keep using them throughout the day. You can sleep in these. These are very, very comfortable. You don't feel them at all. Now, at first I was skeptical about trying a cup, because I'm like, I don't know, because this is different than a tampon. You know, it's bigger than a tampon. How is this going to be more comfortable than putting this inside my vagina? Because sometimes even putting tampons, I'm like, I really don't even like putting tampons up there. I mean, it's been like a year since I've actually used a tampon, but you know, I'm like, you know, this is smaller, and it opens up, you know, after it gets wet or whatever, it opens up, and you take it out, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, I did a lot of bleeding today, and then you throw it away. But with these, it's like it conforms to your body. So with this cup, I always do my fold down method. That's how I put my cup in. That was not it. There we go. I do my fold down method, and I always turn it and insert it. Now, the reason I like this cup better than this particular cup, this one is a lot firmer, and so it actually, when I insert the cup, it instantly wants to pop open. Like, I've never had to really turn it or anything. Like, after I insert it in my vagina, it just, hey, we're in here, we're good now, and it sits there. It's comfortable. I've been in church with the cup on. I've been out shopping with the cup on. I've gone to bed with the cup on, and it's very, very comfortable. Like I said, you don't feel it. There's no discomfort. Even the little stem, because the stem, unlike the tampon, you know, when you put it in, the tampon is the string is very, very long. So, you know, when you're out and about and whatever, and you're sitting down, or you go to pee, you have to move you have to move the string out the way to use the bathroom, so you don't have a wetness situation down there. You have to move the string out the way, and then after you wipe, then you put the string back, and it's still there, and it's kind of annoying. But with the stem with these, it's not hanging out to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I feel the stem and it's bugging me. But they do have little notches here where if you need to cut it, that's up to you. But this, I've never had to cut this because I don't feel like the stem does not bother me at all. Like, it's a good place to have it there, you know, like if you can't or you just don't want to stick your finger all the way up your vagina and grab here, you can kind of pull a little bit until this part comes out, and then you break the seal and then shimmy shimmy, take your cup out. Same with this one. It has a shorter stem, but I love the flatness of it. It's easier to grab, it's easier to grip, and you know, pull. But like I said, I've never had any issues with the stem itself, so I've never had any discomfort or anything like that. Like I said, I've gone to sleep with my cup in, I've been out, you know, active, exercising with my dog and my mother. We go for a walk every day and never had an issue. Now, I will say, even when you're using a cup, always have a backup, because you always want to be sure. Even when you're using, like if you want to use organic cotton tampons or you want to use reusable tampons, you still want to have a backup just in case, because you never know if your period decides to pick up. If you feel that you're like a really heavy bleeder, because a lot of women, you know, you feel like you're bleeding a lot, and sometimes it can appear that you're bleeding more than what you really are, because when you have a regular pad on, like, you know, you have a regular pad on and you're sitting and you're bleeding and you're bleeding, and then you get up, you move around, you're sitting again, and then you feel like someone just turned a faucet on in your vagina, and it's like, whoosh. It's like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go right now. And then you go, and it looks like death in your pad, because it's just sitting on top. It's not, you know, catching anywhere else. It's just sitting there. Now, next month I will show you how to sanitize these. Like, we're gonna do like a whole period tutorial, I guess, on how I sanitize these, how I use them. We'll see how much you actually bleed and all that fun stuff, you know, that people don't like to talk about. But I mean, it's a natural part of life, you know. But I like the fact that on the inside you can't really see it, and I'm not gonna try and show you, but it has like a little measuring thing on the inside to actually show you how much you're bleeding. So even if you feel like, oh, I bleed too much to wear cups, or I bleed too heavy to wear cups, they do have cups for heavy bleeders. I myself am not a heavy bleeder. I might bleed heavy once during my period, but for the most part, even on my heaviest of heavy days, this has caught it all, and so has this. So, you know, even when I feel that gushing feeling come down, these have caught all of it, and I've never leaked over. The only thing that you will notice, I will say, if you want to try a cup for the first time, the one thing that you will notice when you put the cup in, and you know, when you take the cup out and you go to wipe, there may be a little bit of spotting, but that's just simply because, okay, you just put something up your vaginal area and then you took something out your vaginal area. So outside of that, you shouldn't really have any issues with it leaking or anything like that. But you know, if you don't get it right the first time, all you have to do is just, if you need to rinse it off, and then try again. You know, it's not like a tampon where, you know, either you put it in right or you don't, and then you have to take it out and get another tampon. You can keep trying with this until it feels comfortable for you. Now we're going to talk about the reusable pads. Now I have two types. I have the regular, which is this one, and then I have the overnight, which is this one. So again, I got all this stuff from Wish. The regular pad, I love the fact that these have snaps on them. So, you know, it cute little patterns on the back. I mean, not that that really matters because no one is going to see this. It's going to be sitting in your underwear, so who cares about the pattern? But I love the snaps versus the traditional sticky situation that always goes on with a regular pad. It's very smooth. It sits perfectly in your panties. It doesn't move. You don't have to worry about it sticking to your thigh or, you know, whatever. It sits in your underwear and catches. Now, I usually, when I'm using my cup, I usually like to have a regular pad as a backup. Depending on whichever cup I'm using, it really doesn't matter. I always like to have a pad as a backup because I don't want to take a chance and, you know, I'm out all day, because you can forget that you have your cup in. And that's what happened to me when I had it on for like 8 hours. And I was like, oh crap, I got a cup. Let me go and, you know, take my cup out so I make sure I don't leak over. Well, surprisingly, I didn't leak over. There was maybe like a little bit of white spotting, you know, in the pad. Yes, I have used these. Yes, they are clean. Do not, you know, sit here and go, oh my gosh, she's like sitting here with, you know, something she's put up against her vagina. Well, you know, these have been in my vagina. They're clean. All these products are clean. So I'm not, you know, showing you, you know, yes, you know, there's still some on there. But, you know, the only thing I had was like a little bit of blood on there. And that was just after I put the cup in. But as far as like wiping and everything like that, no issues. But I always still have a backup just to be safe, because you never know what can happen. Now, the other pad that I love is the overnight. Now, usually I will put this on if I don't feel like sleeping in my cup and I just want to give my vagina a break for a while until in the morning. I'll put this on at night, and it's very soft. It's very, oh my gosh, it's very soft. And it's same process. It has the snaps on there. If we can get this together, come on, there we go. It has the snaps and it sits in your underwear, and it's long enough so where if you're a front or a back bleeder, it will cover, and you don't have to put on 2 pads or anything like that. I don't know if any of you ladies have ever had an incident where you've had to have 2 pads on because it was like really heavy. You know, you have the long pads, but they're kind of bulky, you know, so you get 2 of the pads, so you have one closer toward the front and one closer to the back. With this, you don't have to worry about it, you know, and this is very absorbent. Like, I wash these before I use them, and so with this one, this, like I said, this is a regular pad. This one is an overnight, so it catches a lot more. And I mean, you could still see if there's like, you know, any blood that falls in there, especially when I just free bleed into these. You'll see the blood that sits on top. But when I go to like take a piece of tissue to like, you know, clean the blood off before I just go back to bed or whatever, like nothing, usually if anything comes off, it's very light that comes off the top. This holds a lot, and I was very shocked by that. And when I went to actually wash these, because I washed my hand first and then I put it in the laundry, but when I went to wash this, I was like washing and I went to squeeze and I'm like, that's a lot of blood that just came out of this pad. So I got another one that I hadn't used because I'm like, okay, I know I cleaned these before I use them, so let me make sure it's not just the color, because I'm like, okay, well, this is red, maybe it's just the color. That was not the case. This held up for like hours and hours and hours of sleeping. It didn't move around, it didn't scrunch up, I didn't have any issues with it. It held up, and it held a lot of blood. There was no smell or anything like the traditional pad. We will discuss more in depth on what I use to clean my cup, how I clean them, how I sanitize them, how I clean my reusable pads, and go from there. But I really hope that this video was helpful for someone. I hope that you know, anyone who is thinking about using reusable pads or cups or anything like that. I really hope that it helped you in making a decision on whether or not you want to try it. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not an OB or anything like that. So this is just my opinion on how I feel about these items and how I feel that, you know, it helps with reducing waste, because you can just keep using these products over and over and over. Like I said, the overnights came 5 in the pack. The reusable one, the regular ones came 10 in a pack. So I mean, you have enough to hold you through your period, and then you're cleaning them in the process, so you don't have to worry about, oh well, I'm running low on pads or I'm running low on tampons. Like, oh well, I just cleaned one. So you can just, after you have this dried and whatever, grab one and then put it in your underwear and then go. Or, you know, when you run out of tampons, you have to go to the store. Like, that's more money that's spent, and this is saving money because these will last you for a long time, and it's reusable. You just keep using it over and over and over again, unlike regular pads and tampons, which you can't. It's only a one-time use, and after that you have to throw it away. So I really do hope that this was helpful for someone. I really hope that it encourages you and motivates you to want to try these products for yourself. If you enjoyed this video and you did not click away, you didn't run away because we were talking about something that is kind of like a taboo. We talked about periods today. If you stayed all the way to the end, thank you so very much. We will go more in depth with this next month. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I am going to be coming back to my channel, I promise. So far things have kind of slowed down. Still got a lot going on, but it's slowed down a great deal. So I will see you guys next week to give you an update on where I've been, and we will go more in depth with the rest of the stuff next month. I love each and every one of you beautiful, beautiful people, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.